Well, tonight, a 2-year-old American citizen is in Honduras after a federal judge says she was deported with no meaningful process. The toddler, identified only as VML, was born in New Orleans in 2023, but despite her U.S. citizenship, was removed from this country alongside her mother, who is a Honduran national. The woman reportedly wanted the little girl with her, but that was not confirmed with the courts. When a judge tried to call a government lawyer to speak with the family, they were already in the air en route to Honduras. This is the toddler's father is still in the U.S. and hoping for her return. Joining us now to break down this case is attorney Mark Reichel. Mark, good to see you. Thanks for joining us on this.
Thank you very much, Natasha.
What is your read on this case? Did the deportation happen too quickly before the courts could intervene and possibly keep the 2-year-old here in the U.S.?
Yeah, absolutely. So look at the facts here. The father actually has a valid court order from the state of Louisiana, a valid family court order, which gives him the custody that he designates actually to this third party, to this friend. But the court determined, and they signed that off. This is the family law court in Louisiana. And so then the ICE with the mother and the child, and they get a handwritten letter from the mother in Spanish, which says, I'm taking her with me. She's going with me. And they deport her. But before they do, the father and his attorney try really hard to stop the deportation. They go to court. They do everything they can. They call and they call and call. But they took the child away with the mother, and they took the note. Now, the father says he had a phone call with her, that ICE agents were standing right there. She said, I don't want her coming with me over the telephone. He said, here's my lawyer's number. Call it. The phone disconnected, and the next thing you know, she's gone.
Wow. So lawyers for the government are claiming that the mother had custody and indicated in that letter that she wanted to take the little girl with her. Would that override the little girl's American citizenship or her father's wishes that she stay here in the States?
Well, that's the whole issue. It's an adversarial system. So the way it works, really, it's scientific. Our judicial system for justice is wonderful. Each party, so they're two separate parties, and they fight really hard within the bounds of the law, and someone neutral in the middle makes a decision. And we think after that battling and that adversarial system, we have justice at the end. Here you have what's continuing on with the Trump Justice Department. They've really gotten rid of the third branch, the judiciary, and they say, look, this is our position, so we're going. So we win because we take this position. There have to be hearings. The Supreme Court has held now recently, just last week. There have to be hearings. This is the position of the government. Now, if they're lying or they're wrong, how is that fair to the other side? So you let a judge decide these facts. The government can say, these are the facts, and then, argue that they should be adopted. But just because they say they're facts as a litigant doesn't mean they are the facts.
What's the likely outcome now that she's in Honduras? Or do you see her coming back to the U.S.?
It's going to be really difficult. It's actually possible. There's a lot of cases where it's true. The U.S. has a lot of muscle in that regard. If they say, look, first of all, the mother can bring her back. She can petition the INS. You can bring a U.S. citizen back. Every U.S. citizen has the constitutional right to never in their life, from birth to death, be deported. Every U.S. citizen has that right. That can never be taken from you. So if the mother wants to bring her back, the immigration has to allow that transfer to take place, excuse me.
Okay. And with the time we have, I want to get your take on the FBI Director Kash Patel arresting a Wisconsin judge for allegedly trying to help an undocumented defendant avoid arrest. Why does this matter? What is your read on this case?
That's a closer call for the government and for ICE and the FBI than the last one we just spoke about. So this is a judge where they went there, they wanted to stay in a public place and make an arrest in the hallway. They didn't have an actual judicial warrant. They had these typical administrative warrants from the Immigration Service, which isn't really a judicial warrant. Nevertheless, there was a state judge who just didn't want to see this take place. They say she took them back through her chambers and kind of hid the individual from ICE. And then eventually when this person made it out into the streets, they arrested him. And they say, hey, that hindered us. So, this is a closer case. I can understand both sides on this, but this is going to have to go to trial, and I don't know what's going to happen, but it's a closer case. You cannot illegally harbor someone and hide them. You can't do these physical acts. So the question is going to be the facts here. We all agree. Everyone's going to agree. You can't really hide someone that law enforcement has a right to get them.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our NewsNation app right now on your phone, and you will get fact-based, unbiased news for all Americans.